Good morning, everybody. Call meeting to order. We have a quorum. Take a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda in the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Brown, how you doing this morning?
Good. I'm going to keep my distance. We've got I got a couple guys in the crew with COVID, and I got a daughter that might have been exposed, and I was around her last week, so I'm just going to kind of stay away and see what happens. She's getting tested today. So, but anyway, not a lot to discuss. I think the rock run is done. If it's not done, it's going to be done today. So that's that. The bridge over on 390th. We had a pile that was a little stubborn and didn't want to meet bearing. So last week they had to redrive, or not redrive. They added some steel and pounded it to get the bearing it needed. So that's done. And I know that the east approach over there is ready for the cap. So that project's moving along pretty well. Other than that, I'm going to be working. I haven't gotten an update yet for when the pavers are coming in, but I know they did some survey last week. They working on profile. I think that's done. So probably this week I'll get a profile to approve. So that one's moving along. And then I've got an annual report to get done before the 15th of September. So I'll probably be working on that the next couple weeks. So I don't know if you guys have any questions for me.
Those guys, any leads on their equipment that was stolen?
No, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if the sheriff's got anything or not, if he knows anything about it or not, but I haven't been told anything. Kind of a
no.
shame.
I'm not exposed.
So,
Okay, I don't have anything, so guess that'll be it.
I'll be listening. Got questions?
I'm good, thanks. Drainage claims? Nope, no claims, right? DD10 tree removal bids.
And the more I think about this, we need to get a procedure for doing this from now on. We should probably have a list of contractors, and so that they know, everybody knows that this is happening and they have an opportunity, and have a drop dead date and stuff like that. I'll need to look for a policy or something that we can use, but I just want to be more consistent going forward, because this was kind of loosey-goosey.
Sure.
And then nobody will hopefully complain as much.
Right.
We have the bid that Mark got one from A1 Excavating that's actually sealed.
That's fine.
And then Nick
Nick DeVore.
had a second round that had, but he didn't attach a map. Added 2,000 more. So he's up to 50 or 47 plus another 1,750 for seating, and then any other stuff. So I don't know if we have apples to apples or not.
Right.
And I don't know if I didn't look at A1 yet, so I don't know if they were cutting or grubbing.
Lateral 8 and lateral 9.
Yeah, in section 29 and 30, and he probably has the same map that other one has. Yeah, should be pretty similar because we talked through it.
Yep. Yeah, that way.
Yep. And you got the lateral one.
Yeah, this one's got sawed on trees, lateral 8 and 9. Pile the trees and burn them, leaving the stumps and roots intact.
Oh, and the other thing was proof of insurance. You know, if you get somebody that is private, I don't know what his liability coverage is, or
Like Nick,
yeah.
I thought he was gonna include, he asked if he needed that, and I said probably did, but maybe didn't include that.
Yeah, that's something we'd have there since they're working for the county.
And they're not, like state certified or whatever. I don't know if we need that or not. It just what you guys are comfortable with.
I think, well, it's just like any contractor, if they're doing a small pile of repair or something, they're working on county infrastructure, they should have we should have a minimum recommendation for
Yeah.
insurance.
So we just need to get a little more formal.
Anyways, Elliot was 29,231. Petty Cord was 49,500, Nick was 45,
Pluses.
plus 1,750.
Maybe you don't have to worry about it then.
No,
So Elliot's gonna cut and burn.
cut and burn and bury. Yep,
The biggest thing is farmers really would prefer not to have the ditch bank disturbed, if we could.
Yeah,
And then we can get it back to where it's sprayable.
Yeah, that's the
That's
thing.
the
You'll have
biggest
to
thing.
keep up on the spraying. So is it cheaper to cut and spray or clean it out and start over? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, I mean,
I have
when
no
when the
clue.
spray, when B&W spraying, that's what he said on the map, he said these trees are too big. And even the small stuff, I think it's got too big, which all needs to be cut back to, start at ground zero. Everybody's happy with their drainage, if they come back a year from now, and want the bottom clean, then it's full
And
blown
is the-
project. But
And is there clear access so they can spray?
on quite a bit of it, there's CRP.
Okay.
I think just about all of it, actually. I think on Hubbles, it's all CRP, and Larry Johnson's, it's CRP on one side. Hubbles might be on both sides, and even all of that, yeah.
because they were, none of them were interested in redoing the whole ditch because you cut trees and or pole stumps, you're reshaping everything, reworking everything. That's why we decided to go this route.
Mhm.
We did also tell them we would probably meet again before we approved it.
Right.
So should we,
Do you think it's necessary?
at these prices, I doubt it.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that'd
I
just
doubt
do
it. I think
Yeah.
that, let's just do it, because, I mean, one of them, Larry and Nick, they know what it's gonna take to do it. If we can get that cheaper than that, then they would probably be understanding. So,
Mhm.
oh, absolutely.
you know what I mean? It's not a huge dollar amount.
Next
so-
theory was, I think it's basically, well, Rapa's gonna pay for quite a bit of it, so why not,
Right. Get the money, but keep the money.
Mhm.
So. But those are those three. So I guess if want to take a motion to approve A1 excavating to do tree removal on DD 10, lat 8 and 9.
I would make that a motion.
Okay, there's a second.
I'll second that.
All right, any other discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion will carry. Elliot, hold it.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and get started on that when the crops are out, I would assume.
Yeah, you could probably even go on some of it
If you can
now.
get it there now.
Yeah, there's, like I say, there's CRP, I know on Larry Johnson's, and that's where the biggest ones are, and then some on houses, there's a few big cottonwoods.
Where the house is, behind the house, that was CRP all the way up and around. I thought,
So
too.
it's-
At least on the south side, when I was looking at it.
Yeah, there's a lot of CRP in there, so.
So the next one might be a little different story. I think we might need another landowner meeting.
Okay.
That was at DD 48 where, Reed, Wheeland,
Oh,
whatever, Wheeland, I think.
Yeah,
Jay Edgar did go
He
in.
did.
We did get a bill. He filled in the holes. He left a couple of pipes so that they could,
oh,
Observe
did he put some
whatever.
pipes in to observe the flow?
yeah.
Okay,
So if we did get rain,
yeah,
they could actually
Let me
see if
try
there
it,
was
yeah.
some issues yet.
okay,
I think he was up by, what was it, John Quill and,
so on the corner there. where the
Yeah,
hole
three
was.
but I haven't gotten to talk to
I've
him
been by
about
there
it
for a
yet.
while. Okay,
But,
go home that way.
Reed still wanted basically improvements,
So if he wants
So-
some improvements, so it has to go to a hearing and it has to go through everything.
Engineering and
The rest of them
everything,
have the right
so-
for remonstrance.
so I think we need him at a meeting so he
Okay.
can plead
what
his
I'd say.
case and,
Jump on the grenade.
yeah. Pretty much,
No, that's fine. It's, at least those repairs are done and it's, should be, I'm beginning to wonder if there is issues. Those power poles are right next to that tile. When I looked at that one by John Quill there in the blacktop, it was, I mean, I just eyeballing it through there, when we're talking, and it did something get nicked, I don't. If something got hit and nobody got told or didn't get repaired right or something, is there more going on, or is just the clay tile shot,
well, and Russ and I
Took
did,
all the dirt off it.
Yeah.
I think we got our wires crossed because the one repair he was asking for is actually in the right of way.
Right.
So Russ was gonna go check on that.
Okay.
I don't know if he got it looked at yet, but
Yeah,
he's on that one.
yeah, that's
so-
right now, the back.
And
slope
I
of the
think he was
ditch.
gonna call Reed.
Okay.
So, but the reason why he wasn't at the last meeting, he's not a landowner. He wouldn't have gotten a notice.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so that kind
Well,
of,
then he better bring his landowner with.
But his investor would have. got it.
Right.
so they must not have known what they got or something, I don't know.
Sure.
I guess I'll send an invitation. But we'll get it taken care of.
Before harvest or after harvest, we're running out of time.
It's
Yeah,
in the ditch, yeah. Oh, to get our meeting together.
Yeah, that one, can you go like
you
the,
wanna squeeze another one in before, or?
can we go like the
shoot?
13th or 20th? Or really getting too late?
So get it in by the 13th, we probably could still get some people there the 20th, I'm not gonna be so sure
Right, that's a, yeah,
what's gonna be happening. Things are gonna change pretty quickly here.
Okay.
you can see it starting to turn out there.
Yep, that dry weather didn't help at all.
Dry weather didn't out and the rain
Yeah,
speeds it up.
there's sandstorm.
Cause that gives us. You got them out, the letters out sometime this week, gives you 1, 2, 2.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks, so. I'd go for it and then
Okay,
just do it on Monday morning at 10
10,
o'clock,
Works for me.
13th.
Yeah.
Try to get them in here. And
but
then we can, like I said, if he's here explaining what's,
You
then,
want some reasons.
then the rest of them can hash it out too.
yep. Yeah, cause nobody else seemed to,
Too worried about it.
Well, it
Yeah.
all seems if they're satisfied with the drainage, like I say, they could file the remonstrance if it decides to go ahead, you know.
but he's up higher and they'd get more water,
Mhm.
so, yeah.
You'd have to, if you're gonna improve and go bigger, you'd have to start at the bottom and work your way all the way up and then
Mhm,
turn into a large project there.
mhm.
Well,
Ends up behind. Yeah, behind the Lear's place there, doesn't it?
I think, yeah,
The
done,
north side
yeah,
of that property, that's where it opened up outlets.
yeah, because I think he says 22-inch tile down there, and maybe it's smaller.
Go from there and you easily your way back and.
Yeah, so do a few miles.
So. All right, let's try for that, see what everybody says.
So that's the one that, does that end up by Elk Creek Church
Yep.
too? Yeah.
On that farm anyway, or how
Yeah.
far it goes up into Wyland Farms there.
Mhm. Okey-dokey.
All right, claims. Any questions or concerns with the claims?
Make motion to approve the claims.
Motion to approve claims.
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye.
Okay.
Aye. Opposed? Any reports? No. Payroll eligibility or salary changes?
Yeah, I just got one yesterday.
Lisa Johnson, work for public health.
Temporary,
Temporary.
yeah, we're short several people right now.
Oh.
Really?
Well, we lost our main nurse. She quit doing somewhere else, one of the nurses, and then they've got a couple out that are sick.
Oh,
I see they were hired, you know.
Yeah, they're trying to hire her and getting.
'cause I
got
think that
no-
was the last one that was hired already. jumped
Yep, she
ship.
already jumped ship.
Yeah.
And nobody turned in an application yet. I think today is was the drop dead date.
They're
So
still
like
in
I
the
said,
application.
no applications.
Crazy.
Keep trying.
Is that a motion then, Mark?
Yeah, I'll make that a motion.
Approve Teresa's temporary
Yep, status.
status, okay? Temporary full-time, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
So do you happen to know if that means full benefits or she's just part-time-ish?
I thought she was just part-time-ish, but.
Okay,
I
yeah,
guess-
Shelley's.
It'll
gonna check it
probably-
out.
Okay,
Depends, I don't know, work it like the roads guys.
So say as long as it's less than 6 months, it shouldn't be benefits.
Yeah.
It'd be just like the seasonal employees.
so I think our hope,
Snowball guys.
It's my understanding of the way the rules work.
Oh. any liquor license? What do you, e-agreement, Worth Soil and Water Conservation District?
Okay, I got 9 more of these to send out, but this is the first one that came back of the ones that Jeff put together for me. So that we're okay with the secretary or auditor of state,
State or federal.
because we're supposed to have an agreement if we're giving money to organizations.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's, I think we give soil and water $1,000 every year.
Okay,
$1,000, kind of budget to express purpose of funding water.
And Jeff drafted them, so he should be okay with them.
Should be good. Sounds good. Take a motion to enter into the 28E agreement with Worth Soil and Water Conservation District.
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion on it? Roll call vote, Lowberg,
Aye.
maybe,
All right,
Stone, aye, that motion will pass.
Those will trickle in as I get them out to the entities and have them sign first, and then I'll bring them in.
Okay. Appointment with county medical examiner.
Yeah, they have somebody new at Pathology Associates, so she needs this for the state or something.
See it here.
Yeah, I just made it short and sweet.
Right. So enter into our appointment, I guess, right?
Yep,
Appoint county medical examiner with Pathology Associates in Mason City. Take a motion to appoint the medical examiner.
I'll make that a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Map of Iowa Trail Committee, discuss the proposed trail project between Fertile and Allentown, right?
let's see.
Myron.
Myron, how you doing this morning? You're on mute yet?
Oh, do I have to undo that?
Oh, you should get it.
How's that? Better?
Better.
Morning, guys. Yeah, I think Jason Petersburg was gonna be there, but he said he was a little bit late. Has he showed up?
Showed up.
Walk in, yep.
All right. Well, we're kind of back where we were last year in August. We just wanted to talk to you guys and determine who would own and who would maintain the trail down in Hamlintown between Hamlintown and Fertile. So last year you guys said, well, let's look at the budgets, and then a lot of things happened. So we kind of started over and we went to both councils and we asked them what maintenance things they would handle. And Jason put together a nice draft memorandum. And so we attended those council meetings and got them to accept that. And then we took it to the Board of Conservation. So we're trying to get everybody on the same page. So with that, I'll kind of turn it over to Jason and let him tell you about the process, I guess.
I don't know how familiar everybody is with this project. I know you've been to a couple of the meetings. I emailed out some information to Jackie. I don't know if she forwarded that on to you guys or.
Yes.
Your packet with some maps and stuff, and I don't know, you can hand these out.
I've seen it all for sure last year, but
You've seen it all.
yeah,
Okay.
it was last year, though, so.
Couple more. So we've been looking at this trail concept between Fertile and Hamlintown for Top of Iowa Trail Committee for over a year now. Things slowed down there a little bit with COVID and picked back up again. In this packet's kind of a summary of some of the meetings we've had. And where we're at in the process. Myron's done a good job with the fundraising and reaching out to the property owners as far as getting them to at least verbally agree at this time to easements. The first map, the larger 11x17, we looked at several different alignments for this trail. And the green line that goes east out of the southeast corner of Hamlintown and then south and works its way along the Winnebago River over to Fertile. That's the alignment or the route that everybody has agreed that they'd like to pursue. Myron's talked to all the property owners. They're willing to grant easements. The committee is confident that they can, through fundraising, grant applications, get this project funded. Construction cost, we're about 2.6 million, just under 2.6 million to build this trail. It'd be a 10-foot wide paved trail. The problem is, in order to get grants, somebody has to own this trail. It's outside Fertile city limits, it's outside Allentown city limits for the most part, except for just the ends, which puts it in the county. So we had talked with conservation a few different times, and their major concern over taking over the ownership and maintenance of this was, quite frankly, the maintenance, the staffing. They don't have the staff to do the routine inspections, clearing, cleaning, etc. Both Fertile and Allentown, the cities, have indicated that they would be willing to take care of some of the routine maintenance on these. So we went to both city councils and handed out a draft, intended to be a draft memorandum of understanding. It was the starting discussion point as far as who will do what on this trail, should it be constructed. And the purpose of this was to alleviate some of the concerns that the conservation department had as far as the routine trips. So both communities listed the tasks that they'd be willing or able to take care of here as far as long-term maintenance on this. Essentially the routine maintenance, the clearing of brush, mowing, sweeping, collecting garbage, inspection, stuff like that. The city of Allentown and Fertile indicated that they would be able to take care of those tasks. So that alleviated a lot of the concerns I know of Jim and his department there. Fertile, Allentown, and then I know Myron went to the conservation board meeting as well, and they reviewed this and they indicated that they were generally in agreement with this as well. So now we're back to the point of who will own it. Is the county willing to take ownership of this trail? In order to apply for grants, most grants, you have to have a resolution saying that you will take care of it for the next 20 years. And then you can get the
And
grant.
reliable for it.
Yep, and you can get the grant funding for paying for it. The problem is there's not a lot of grant funding for the maintenance, which is why they worked up this memorandum of understanding as far as who would be responsible for what. So this takes care of the day-to-day operations maintenance on the trail. Then it'd be just down to acts of God, flooding, washouts, etc. But the trail would be built to withstand a lot of that. A lot of it is in the floodplain. And any severe acts of God, typically there's outside funding available for repairing something like that. So Myron, is there anything I left out there?
No, I think that pretty well covers it, but the reason we started down that area is there's just tremendous community support. They've talked about it for years, and then the other thing is connectivity. In order to get long-term funding, you got to have a plan for connectivity. So we could possibly go to Winnebago County or go south into Saragordo, and then eventually we want to get up to the Welcome Center, and eventually it'd be nice to connect all the communities. But we just wanted to start with a small one. It's like 4 miles. And since we have tremendous support, we wanted to start there. And like Jason said, the only exception would be as if we have flooding. And my goal is to have it designed right and try to keep it up and really build a good foundation so we can minimize any potential damage. Spend the money up front so we reduce the maintenance on the long-term end.
I don't know. That's a tricky one. I guess, probably,
Agree to it, but the biggest concern of my board is that, it's the long-term money. I mean, they know where we sat after budgets this year and that we got cut and we got cut and we got cut. And my board doesn't want to see any of our existing programming cut to own or maintain something new.
Right.
If we can't take care of what we have now, we shouldn't get more is kind of their thought.
Right.
And I know, I mean, we talked about it, I suppose it was 45 minutes, wouldn't you say, Myron?
Yeah,
And I mean, I will say I have some board members who aren't so sure about it, to be honest, but they did ultimately agree to the memorandum of understanding and, you know, to the draft. But that's their biggest concern is, you know, long-term money.
Right. Yep, and that's would be mine too, because it's,
And that's another thing that we never addressed there was the liability and what it would do to insurance. I guess I don't know personally because we don't have trails, so I don't know if that adds more insurance to the county, you know, onto our bill. I plan on at ISAC doing some asking around for counties that do have trails, but this is something completely new to us, so I don't know if that's gonna be another added cost.
right.
I'd have to look into that one.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to
Well,
that.
look what's happened to us now with the Winnebago River, and this would
Right.
be just another avenue, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I know Mitchell's got that large one over there that connects into
Yeah.
Howard County, right?
Yeah. Into the
And
Minnesota.
goes into Minnesota, catches theirs, right?
Yeah.
You sent out that email, Winnebago's got that one.
Yeah.
You could find out what their insurance. That'd be close by.
I can check with her.
That'd be the big question is, yeah, is there, you know, obviously there's the maintenance of costs, but are we accruing additional insurance costs and additional with additional maintenance costs?
And if there are repairs, who pays for those?
Just say the way the memorandum is written is that it would be the county.
Major repairs would be a county, the way it's written.
Like I said, it's, you know, acts of God, flooding, FEMA, usually there's usually FEMA reimbursement. But,
And that's paperwork.
well, and it's part of it, but the reality is that if it's not, you know, we think of acts of God as being the only thing that can happen, but there's a lot of things that can happen, so you just don't know. So it's, I mean, we have to be aware that there's a potential for, you know, $10,000, $20,000 repairs to pop up just because, you know, you might have a bad patch of pavement or asphalt or whatever and have to go in and do a repair.
That'd be good to check with Winnebago, that one's been a long-term one, you know, as far as what kind of stuff they've run into, the repairs and stuff.
The sheriff is obviously
Is this accessible from a road, or is this run down along the river? That's concerns I have as far as patrolling.
The ends are at the roads,
The answer at roads,
but
But the
then,
rest of it's interior.
correct.
Correct.
But you're looking at this one coming out of the southeast corner. of Hamilton.
Yes, the green.
The
What
green one.
about for
not this
emergency?
one.
It'd be 10
services?
for
If
emergency,
somebody-
10 foot
Services
wide.
that get down into,
It's a 10-foot wide.
10 foot wide, so.
So
it'd be
you could get
accessible.
a vehicle.
they're built so you can drive equipment on them to maintain. them.
Yes.
Right.
But that means other people could drive on them too.
mhm.
Well, not legal.
You'd have to have bollards on the ends
Yeah.
to restrict access.
That's what it holds, yeah. I know. Yeah, it's not.
I think it'd be good for the economy in North County, though. I think it'd bring a lot of people in, especially with the goal of trying to get to the casino and.
It's on top of the hill, huh? No,
This is,
No,
no, it's on
would
the
be in the.
it's on
The hills on the
east side
south
of the
side.
river,
east side.
yeah, crossing the river, so.
We looked
On
at
the north
following
side.
Lincoln's Creek down through, but Basic Material has easements on all
On all
of that. They're looking to do some more mining in there.
Across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got all that. don't they?
Yeah, but they did indicate they'd allow it to go along the perimeter of the
Perimeter.
property, so.
Okay.
We can't go through the county property due to the funds that were used to
Right.
acquire that, so.
Like I said, our board's biggest concern is the finances, just because they don't want to commit to something, and then 5 years from now, 6, 7, 10 years from now, all of a sudden, well, you have to do this. Well, we signed the agreements for the grants that you have to take care of it, so what do we cut out of our existing operations to pay for it? That's their biggest fear.
Yeah, and that's been our concern from day one is we don't want to build something if we can't maintain it.
So I'm just asking, some of the goals of the Trails Committee then is to make this a multi-use trail. Does that, by paving it, does that mean, Cindy, there's a question, you like to ride horses. I mean, is this a horse rideable trail? Is this just strictly a running bicycle trail? I mean, that was one of the goals, I think, of the Trail Committee was to make it a multi-use trail.
Yeah, we wouldn't do horses on it.
Okay. And I don't mind, I mean, if it's just a goal to get kind of a running bicycle trail, or, I thought the Trails Committee was kind of a multi-purpose type of trail, but.
Yeah, we're still considering that, kind of looking at what other counties do and, it's all a cost factor, and the horses probably don't want to ride on concrete, so we'd have to do it alongside. And is that a possibility? I don't know at this point.
Okay.
When was the last time the owners of the property been approached? Because I know one is tied into a lawsuit with us right now on something. Is that been recently? And
No,
have they?
that was prior to the lawsuit.
Okay, because
I named everybody, I'm sure.
he's in it.
Okay. Well, you gotta do a little more research, Jim.
Yeah, like I said, I'm at ISAC, I plan on visiting with quite a few of the counties that have trails and find out if there's insurance costs associated and what, if they have a per mile rate or if it's just a flat, because a lot of the counties that have trails don't have 2 miles of trails, they have 20, 30, 40. Yeah, I mean, they have real miles of trails. And so maybe insurance wise, maybe it wouldn't be a big deal, but it could be a big deal too. I know, I would bet though, the bridge crossing the river would be a pretty big insurance expense, I would assume.
Yeah.
We're looking at using the existing.
Or you're looking at using,
bridge, yeah,
okay,
along 342nd.
Okay.
there.
so then it wouldn't necessarily be, it'd still be on the county's roll already, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, and I suppose you should probably. Obviously run by insurance, but you run it by Jeff, do we have to? Basically, we just have to consume it. If it got built, it'd be about the only way, right? Because, or would you, could there be a trail group or something, Stop Iowa Trail Group built as like a 2080?
There is counties that have Dickinson County, their trail group owns all their trails and hires the conservation board to maintain them.
They're a nonprofit.
Yeah, they created their own non.
That's, yeah, they're not a 2080, 501, 503C, whatever it is. You gotta do a nonprofit, then you'd be eligible for donations that people could deduct and help maintain the stuff. I mean, is that something that could look into?
They were trying to not, and I don't know if a nonprofit can apply for some of these grants either. That I'd have to dig into.
I can check with the
WCD?
Dickinson
Yeah.
County director and see
What they do.
what they do, if they do, if they're able to do a 2080 with a nonprofit, so the county can apply for the funds and then it's owned by the nonprofit. I don't know, I'd have to check and see with, like I said, Dickinson, I know is one that does it for sure, but they have a lot more tourism money than we got here.
Right, correct, right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing, it just, is there a better way? If we gotta do a nonprofit,
Long-term funding is always a question. Getting built is the easy part.
WCDA will build us anything we want.
But how are you gonna take?
That's
it?
that's where everybody runs
Always
into.
maintenance fee.
So everybody runs into, there's we've always got this opportunity for grants and. But. Yeah, well, Myron, I think we just gotta do some checking on our end with insurance and. Jim's gonna talk with some other counties throughout the state that have. Those issues or those trails and everything, so.
Is there anything else you need from us, from the Trail Committee?
Shouldn't be.
I don't see anything now. Got it spelled out how it would work, so.
How many miles of trail did, it's probably on there.
It's about 4.
About 4, yeah.
No, I think we got enough info for now. We just need to do a little checking and see what, maybe the cost of maintenance and insurance and that stuff's gonna be in the future, so.
Sure.
Yeah, you guys got anything else?
Thank you, Network.
Thank you, Myron, appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Jason.
Yeah.
Winworth Backhoe, Melissa wasn't gonna be on this morning. With prior engagement, so. Heading with water, wastewater. Nope, so we're on that. Board appointment for Homeward Incorporated.
I still have not seen Chris.
I will get back in touch with her. I didn't know she probably didn't get a chance on Friday, so I thought I'd hang tight and see if she showed up, but if she hasn't, I'll get back in touch with her.
Oh, and did you go, you went to the meeting already?
Yes, I went to the meeting, got packets for next year and the whole works.
Good. All right, department head discussion, Joel, acceptable use policy.
Good morning, everyone. So it has been a few years since we redid the acceptable use policy. This is something that every employee at the county that accesses the county networks has to sign and have on file. We try to do it every year just as a refresh. I did make a few changes. One of those changes was our email system. We had a 10-year retention policy on that, which was called Vault. But they're charging us through the nose to renew that this year. It's going to be another $5,000 to add the Vault on. So I actually went with another product this year that does a year of retention. So if somebody asks, for a open records request or something like that, we can go back a year as far as our email system goes to get that back. I sent it out to the department heads for comments and requests. The sheriff and I had a lovely spirited discussion like we always do, and he won. So we did make those changes that he required as well. And then on the front page, there was an addition years ago when I first took the position. There was a policy in place that stated that any equipment purchases, whether they be through the IT office or grants or what have you, would be approved by the IT department before it was put on the network. So I just added that to the acceptable use policy, so that is spelled out for one and all. So that's the only changes, and I'll take any questions.
I don't have any,
I don't either.
something that's gotta be
done.
done and kept up on. I mean, wanna make sure everybody's using the computers and technology properly, so.
It is a policy we need for election security and our CISA cybersecurity stuff to have on hand and on file. So, and I appreciate Jackie's office getting those signatures and all that information collected as they onboard people into the county.
So what we need to do is a motion to accept the new acceptable use policy. Would I do it?
Yep.
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to accept the updated Worth County acceptable usage policy. Is there any other discussion on it?
I just have a question about, is the year enough? Is that acceptable with legal or whatever, Iowa code or
Election
what?
security.
So the way it was explained to me, Jackie, and this has been some time ago, but the only thing we have to do is abide by our policy. So if we have a policy where we have 10-year retention, we have to abide by that policy. If we have policy where we have a 1-year retention, we have to abide by that policy. So unless Jeff can say something different, and he did not reach out to me when I made these changes, I did send it to him. I'm going to be under the impression that that still is the case.
Sounds good.
I think that's the case with like any policy. As long as you have one, you have to stick to it,
We
you
need
know, whatever it may
policies.
be.
It should be.
Yeah, you have to,
Should stick to it.
yeah. Yeah, so, yeah,
And enforce it. I guess.
Mhm.
That would be the key thing.
right. Okay, Do a roll call vote. Lowberg,
Aye.
Smithy,
Hi,
Stone. Aye. Motion will pass.
All right, thank you, guys.
You, Joel.
thanks, Joe. So I'm assuming we all need to sign new ones then.
I'll have them for you next week.
Any other department heads have anything out there?
I just passed out the jail inspection to you guys. Nothing really shocking on it, the same stuff we've used every year, except I did notice his terminology is getting a little stronger on the exercise area than what it's been in the past, with the consideration of other options. So best thing to do is look at the comments and recommendations on page 9. That makes the most sense.
How many more years we get left?
As soon as he gets this new building he built paid off, so 1 or 2.
And I'm worried, really.
I did talk to him about the geo sampling that we had done and that he kind of leaned, he goes, depending on the time, don't put a lot of money into it, but if it's gonna be long-term, then we'll have to put a lot of money into it.
Like I said, general things that can be moved, that's no problem, I mean, that's not an issue, but, you know, actually, some of that stuff, you gotta do full-blown upgrades, it's like. phew. And I know that jail stuff's expensive, that's the worst of it. Okay. We need a motion to accept that or anything, or?
It wasn't on the agenda.
Okay.
It's, we don't have a choice. We got it.
I know, we got it, we got it.
We get it whether we want
Acknowledge
to
it.
accept it or not.
Can you acknowledge it again?
Yeah,
It is written.
Yeah, it's written. We acknowledge it.
We're fortunate, I guess, we can get by for a little bit yet, but. Any other department heads? Oh, excuse me. All right, Supervisor Weekly, yes.
I had Homeward Housing Trust Fund, which consists of 8 rural electric cooperatives that own it. It's made up of 11 counties. We went through the annual report and passed some current funding updates and the maximums. And it's basically set up for rural Iowans to help them buy and improve and get their homes in better shape. When the state and the Fed pulled out of it here quite a few years ago, the counties went together and all kick in $5,000 for it. And they talked about the fact of using 28E agreements to do that. And she said she was in contact
Yeah,
with
I
you.
gotta.
Yep, I asked
those to
her, so. And that pretty much was it.
Mark?
Just had a wellness committee meeting, I guess, last week and encouraging everybody to please get your physicals and your assessments done. That's all we need pretty much to meet get our 5% reduction in our insurance premiums
By October 31st.
by October 31st.
I'm going in October.
And like I say, I think if we can't do it this year, I think going forward, we need a policy change next year when this happens, that gets assessed back to the employees that don't participate. I'm sorry. We got to change something. That's so simple to do. If we can't get our physicals and our assessments done, we don't have to, that's just a bonus. If you do the other 4 things, you get your bonuses. We got to make a change. Other counties have done it, and we're gonna have to figure that out. There's no reason why the county taxpayers continue to pick up people's pretty much laziness. So that's my 2 cents.
And I had my doctor's office fax it in and found out they did not get it. So then I did it again.
Double check.
And I guess I should keep checking until I find out they've got it.
Or go on your wellness site and.
Oh,
see if
look at
it's
it,
on there.
Or Margie or Jolene would be able to tell you too.
In a second.
Yeah.
They got the list, so. Yeah, I appreciate.
But yeah,
everybody getting that done.
It doesn't always, they don't always pick it up down there.
Okay, I didn't have anything last week, so. Nothing else coming up until next month with all of us. Are you going to ISAC?
I'm not,
Yeah.
I got too much going on this week.
I'm busy the first day and the morning of the next one, so it's not worth horsing around for a day and a half at the tail end.
It's not usually the best part, the last day is fairly quiet.
I didn't know, I am going to be attending. I didn't know if anybody was gonna go to the ARP track or not.
I'll be there.
Okay, Jackie, I'll probably try and crash into those as well.
Okay, nothing else said, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second it.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, meeting's adjourned, thank you.
Hey, Jason, you got those non-shows for rescue call outs